This is just a little fabric of bar. And the idea of the print design is that we're going to look for where's the repeat. So one student said, oh, it's like looking for Waldo. Where's Waldo? I said, correct. But you got to find Waldo 4 times. So you need to find him 4 times. So this one is a print that has a repeat of bar. And this textile is designed to repeat here, then it repeats again, the word bar, and then going down again, the word bar. And to make sure that is the right repeat, I look around and I look for an image, and there's bar in his green suit here, and there's bar over here. And then down below, there's another bar, same design, in a green suit, but the only thing is the daughter elephant is to his right, same as that. And then this one is, she's in front. So that's not the repeat. So if you go down, there's the word bar, and right below, there's bar in his suit with the little girl elephant falling behind. So that is where I would take my rulers, put my guides out, and then I will crop it and cut it to only leave my print, my repeat, which I will put in my swatches to put into my flats. Now, long time ago, it wasn't a big deal about repeat, but because Illustrator and Photoshop and textile design has changed, a lot of people want to see the print actual size. They want to make sure that that print is fitting in their design. So they may even, a company may even have a print custom made for their own collection, and how it looks and how it fills up that garment is very important. So one other one I'm just going to show you is like this one. This one here, it's just My Little Ponies. And then the repeat is in here, not to the left or to the right, but vertically. So I look at this, and then I look around, and I said, okay, I see that dog. And then if you scroll down, you see that dog again. So that is, and then you go, okay, there's that dog. And then there's that blue pony with the wings. Then you go back up. There it is again. So I'll put my little ruler guides at the top of the dog's ears. Then I go down to this one. I put a ruler guide right across the top of his ears. So that tells me how much of a repeat this is. And that's important because they want to make sure this design fits in this legging and it's not too big. They want to have a full coverage of the artwork, but they do want to see it repeat over and over again. So someone may even make a custom print design for this, because now this is sublimation. You can do a digital print on like a heat transfer paper, and you can customize how much coverage you got. This is a company called Black Milk, and they would do artwork where they want to make it look like C3PO. So they want to make sure that artwork is filling in, it looks like his legs. Or you may want the sky up here, and then down below the mountains, or the clouds, or a moon, or a sun. So there's all different types of prints, but we're not textile design. So I'm going to leave it simple for us. So just like I did bar, this here, these four dots will represent bar. He's here, he's here, he's here. So I go to my view in Illustrator, I show my rulers, and my rulers are at the top here and on the left side. So I need those, and I don't want to move this. So what I would do is line it up to my grid. You don't need a grid, but it helps to have a grid. That way you can line up your design so you can match it to the guides. So what I do, so it doesn't move, is go to Object, Lock, Lock Selection, and that keeps it from moving. So if you have some other thing over it, you can just grab that, select the whole thing, and move it without moving this. So back to this, I have my guides. So I got my guides. And they only come on when you put the arrow here and pull and click down, hold the mouse down, and then you can get your guides. And you get as many as you want. But I recommend don't doing that, because then you won't know which one is the correct guide, which one is the guide you should put your crop tool to match. So if you have too many, it gets busy, just go to your guides down at the bottom, clear them, and start over. So like I said, for Barbar, I will put a guide, like say at the top of his hat. That would be my first one. Then I go down, same image, same spot, top of his hat. Then I will say, that would be his trunk. So at the tip of his trunk, I go to the guide over here, the ruler, drag over at the tip of this trunk, and then I go over to this, and I do the same at the tip of his trunk. And then I'm gonna zoom back, and this square is where I will match the crop tool and cut my print. So I'm going to unlock all, and I'm going to move this out the way, and I'm going to clear my guides. And I'm going to start with a print, a simple one. I sent this one to you. This is the violin, classic music. So I'll put this up on the corner of my grid. And I'm gonna hide all these for a moment. Not doing any stroke or Pantone numbers yet. There we go. Move over. Thank you. Get up there. Okay. So now I'm gonna do the same thing. I see one violin, 2, 3, 4. Another repeat in this design is the keyboards. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you have the music note. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's several icons that are repeating 4 times. So the easy one, I'm just going to do the violin. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to put a guide at the top. And then I'm going to decide this side, left side. Doesn't matter. It could be either right or left. As long as it goes to the same side. So I have it on that side. Scroll up. It's matching. And then at the top here. All of these patterns are correct, meaning that they're straight, they're not crooked. So you're not going to have any issues about matching. But I'm just saying, if you scan a fabric, your fabric may be a little bit tilted. So there's ways of fixing that first using Photoshop when you crop it. So now I have everything masked off, marked off. I'm going to select the print, try not to move it. Go to Object, and you have Crop Image. You will see the crop image come on. There we go. And I'm going to move these to the grid, to my guide. And don't worry, because they're guides, the crop will literally snap to it almost like a magnet. You'll drag close to it and it almost like snaps onto it. And then I'm going to say enter, or you can just click up here in the menu and say apply. Either way, you can hit apply or enter. So nope, it doesn't say anything about crop. It does say crop image, but it doesn't say apply. So you hit apply or just hit the enter key or return. And there's the crop. It took away all of that. So what I'm gonna do is move this to the side, and I tell everyone, before you put it into your swatches, test it and see if it works. So what I'm gonna do is I copy this and paste two of them. So I paste two copies, one for the bottom and one for the top. So what I'm going to do is move it over and see if it matches up. So it's matching up, makes that circle complete and that line. So if you see something off and it's not matching correctly, you might have moved your crop tool by accident, and you may have just cropped too much or too little. So just undo it and then check your guides. And then over here, so if something has moved to the side, check and see if there's a break. This one just is not aligned up. So I'm gonna move that up. There we go. So the top wasn't even. But even the letter C is joining. So that is cropping an image. I'm gonna do another one for you. And I think I'm gonna use another image. Let me place one more image. A little bit more complicated. Not too complicated. I did have a leopard print in the file, but this one is like finding a needle in a haystack. So don't I'm not going to crop it. It's just too much work, but I'm going to show you how to fix it in Photoshop, because what I want to do, I need to do in Photoshop is remove this ruler. So I'll show you that after the break. So I'm going to clear my guides. I'm going to get another artwork. Replace, let's see, something totally easy. This one is easy. I'm just going to click, drag out my file. That way I can control how big it is. And this one is just sculptures reflected and then upside down reflected. So if you look at it, you can just say right there, if I put a guide right here, not here, but over here, you can even see where the line is. So you can even see where the split is. And then you can see like right here will be that split there. So if I took a guide, drag it down, put it there, and then I took a guide, dragged it out over here. I'm gonna scroll down. It falls right into place. And then if I go over here, it's cutting straight across. So if I put another guide right at that little split, scroll down, it's falling right there. I'm gonna zoom out. So this one even has the guide, or where you can see where they added and put together the artwork. So you just put another one here, crop it, and that is it. So basically this image here is just repeated all over. It's the same artwork. So I'm going to clear my guides one more time, and I'm going to do another artwork, a little bit more busier. Sunflower is almost the same as the statues. Let's see. I'm gonna do this one. Let me drag this out. So this one has a lot of images going on, and you will have to look at it closely to see where your repeat is. So if you look at it, I would say look at the dark blue leaves first, and then you can say, do I see something going on? Maybe the angle of one of the leaves. So if you look at it, and then you say, what blue leaf is touching another blue leaf? Then you can look around again and say, okay, there's a blue leaf touching another blue leaf, but it's actually falling off the artwork, the repeat, but it's there. But we got just a little bit of it, but it's still enough. So what I always say, even if it's not enough, I still will say, okay, where would I put that repeat? So let me zoom in. And what I'm gonna do, this one's a tricky one, because then you go, where should I put my guide? My vertical guide and my horizontal guide. I'm gonna put it right here, right where they cross. So I'm gonna put a guide right there, maybe on top of that pixel. Put an X right there, right on that pixel, or at least in that area. I'm gonna go over and let's see if that works. And it's in that area, so I'm good. Then I'll put another vertical pixel, my guide there. And then I'm gonna scroll down, see if it falls into that same corner. There it is. Pull another vertical guide down. And then you can look at this and say, there's my crop. So I'm gonna crop this. And I'm just gonna see if that works. So textile design, we're not learning how to make textiles, but at least you know how to clean up a textile design, or if you need to engineer one or modify one for a project, and you know the basic parts of the building. So I'm going to take this, copy and paste, and put this together. So let's zoom in. So far, so good. It came together. Make sure it's top to bottom. So it is coming together. And even if it's like a little bit off, I tell people don't stress it. You know, just, it's fine. And this is like your first try. As close as you can. So that will be a very complicated print repeat. But I just wanted to show even something like this that looks super crazy, you can find it. The same way I did here, I just used the monkey as my repeat because there's 4 monkeys in this design, or the frog, or the parrot. So those are the basic, simple cropping. And since he didn't say how many, I would just say try to see how well you can crop it. And why I didn't use Photoshop only because I can do my crop my artwork, and I can just quickly just drag it into my swatches, and then I can make my shape and fill it in with my print design. And then instead of me saving it from Photoshop, bringing it in, placing it, then putting it in, it's all done. So this one too is like a busy print, but like I said, look for something that stands out, like someone wearing the red. So you have her here or here, and then you can look around and say, oh, there you are. So maybe you can put the guides at the tip of her finger, at the side of her knee. And I just noticed that I did that, and I just had like a little extra knee. But this is just practice, learning how to find a repeat. So those are just a repeat. So you see there's 4 monkeys. You have the frog. Then the sunflower, I had the ruler, should have cropped that out. But basically you have one sunflower, another one, another one, another one. Just like I did with the dots. Think about it as like a dot. There's just one in the middle. So your guides just have to make a square to that sunflower. This one, I just put a square in. So this is the part I'm going to show you in Photoshop how to fix. Where the print or the something like watercolor or your print breaks and you see like tile or squares, what I'm going to show you is Photoshop will clean this up to make it blend smoothly so you don't see these hard stopping edges. And I'm going to open my print. I'm going to open, let's get the tiger rug. And I also got to get one other image. I forgot. Photo bomb. Let's see. I need to do that one. This is a fun one. This is what I'm going to show you. This is called content aware. So you have this cute photo on their vacation, and then some knucklehead jumps into the screen. So this is a job for Photoshop. And back in the day, to remove stuff in Photoshop, there was the wonderful clone stamp. It's very good. So what you do is you pick up a piece of clean water, holding the Alt. You put the little cursor over you want to remove, and you go like that. And you have to be careful with the clone stamp, because if you run across not water, but you pick up that leg, it starts to copy that. Or if you run into the foot, it will start to, so it's going to copy, and that looks weird. So you will have to stop, go back, and clean it up. And you can't go too fast, because so this one you have to be very slow about and patient. So they've made something new, and it's called content aware. Because you notice I have to stop, back away, pick up more water, and keep going. As I get closer to my subject, I have to stop and always go back. So same thing up on the sky, because the sky has gradients. So what I do is that I take the lasso, I'm gonna lasso his shorts. And this is what I do. I'm gonna tell it to fill in, not with a color, but fill. Instead of color, there's a content aware setting. I'm gonna say color adaptation, so it's gonna try to match the color and the gradients. I'm gonna say okay, let Photoshop think about it. And it did it, but it didn't do it 100%. So I'm going to go back and say fill. And then I'm going to say his torso. And I want the trees. But what I just did was so much faster. And oh my gosh, saving you so much time. So now it looks like he's above that. They even have content aware move. So if I select something, there is a content aware, looks like a band-aid. I need to find it. Let me go to my toolbar. I don't think it's on. Let me edit my toolbar real quick. There we go. Where is my spot healing brush? There it is. Patch tool. That's the one I need. Letter J. So it's in there, but I'm gonna press the letter J. Capital J. There we go. There's the patch. So this is so cool. If I copy, I could drag over. And do that. If I do that drag over, but I could switch it from normal to content aware, what it does, it looks around what's familiar to it. I'm gonna drag it to a clean spot, let it do its thing, and then it will do content aware. So you can go in here and on a good day, you could literally like content aware someone right out of a picture. So you can just content that bad date right away. And I use it a lot on Facebook. So what does this mean for you for for this? The same thing. I'm not removing, but I'm telling Photoshop to take something and add to it. And it tries to reconnect the dots. So this image is 2007 pixels by 2560. So what I'm going to do is divide this in half. So I'm going to do 1003 and I'm going to do 1480. Yeah, about that. Yeah, 1480. No, 1280. So I'm going to divide that. So that's my dividing number, because I'm going to go to filter, and I have it on the handout that I sent you in the crop folder, the zip file. Talk about offset. I'm going to go to filter, other, offset. And I'm going to start at 0. It's already trying to do it. So what I'm going to do is this lighter color patch, I'm going to slide it over so it's in the middle. So horizontal. You can see the stripe moving, and this is showing up. So what it's doing, offset, is basically folding this edge to the middle and this edge to the middle. So I'm sliding. That's why I said I divided. So 1003 puts it right in the middle. And then the top and the bottom, I'm going to fold down this way. And then this is going to fold up. So that was 1280. So that's my math. So as you can see, there's a defining line splitting this image. So to fix it, I'm gonna use the paintbrush just to show you. I'm not gonna use the paintbrush, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the lasso and I'm gonna go like this with the lasso, not the paintbrush. And I'm selecting all of this right here. And I'm gonna have Photoshop do content aware and refill it and clean it up. So let me take that away. Goodbye. We'll take the lasso, go around. And then I'm gonna tell it to do it. It's gonna take a while. So edit, fill, content aware, and say okay. Give it a few minutes. It uses a lot of processor. I hear my fan coming on. This is calculating and trying to blend it together. So here we go. So you can look at it before, after. So you can look at this before and then after. It made a whole new stripe. Took that stripe, blended over to that one. Over here, took all that and blended it in. And if you need to touch up something, you didn't like how that blended, you can still come back. I'm gonna deselect, Control Command D. And I don't like how this line looks, so I might do like this. Just better yet, I'm gonna lasso that spot I don't like. And I'm gonna go to the patch tool. I'm gonna drag up to this. And I'm just gonna see if it blends and if it works. So it's patching and trying to blend that in. So that is doing the content aware. And then I'm going to show, for example, like the zebra or like this pool. The pool reflection is good. You can come in here, and if you want to get rid of these little watermarks, you get this clone stamp, S for stamp, go to a clean part of the water and hide that design. And then you come over here and say, I want to hide this. Water. Quickly hide that. And you look around and go, oh, I don't want that there. Still click in the water. Go in here. Remove. I went too fast. Don't go too fast. And then you could do the same thing. Image size 1300 by 866. So I'm just gonna say, let's say 750 for that. And then 433 for that. So 750 and then 433. So go to filter, other, offset, 750, 433. And it moved. There's not much of a scene. So the only thing you may want to do is just, if you want to use this, go over here, clone it out. And if you lost some highlights, that's okay, because you can go over here, say, I'm going to pick up this highlight, and I'm going to add it here. start building your own print. So that's even starting to make your own custom watercolor pool reflection print. So the last one is a zebra. So I'm going to get the zebra rug and the same thing. I'm going to check the image size. 1345. I think I wrote that one down. 1345. I did it so many times. So it is actually, it rounds off to 672.5, but I'm just going to say 673. And then 750 for that. So I'm going to go to filter, other, offset. We'll do 673. Then below, height, 750. And it's not a bad repeat, but then it can be fixed. So I'm just going to lasso. I'm not going to mess with the little, I like that little triangle shape. But below that, they're actually okay, but I'm going to select that. Then I'm going to say fill, content aware, in my handout, I did 4, there you go. I did 4 zebra stripes, but since this zebra stripe's so big, see that? It just made those lines complete and colored and filled in, saving you all this hours of tedious work trying to make it match. Even that little spot down there. So now you have a clean print that when you use this, so I'm gonna do offset one more time. And everything matches, and do offset one more time. Actually, I'm gonna offset. And I just slide it. And I slide it around just to see if it looks good and if my lines are matching and there's no gap or suddenly stop. But when you do it, always crop. Don't leave extra, extras white around it, because if you do that, the offset will do that. And then you'll have a problem trying to get that to match. Then that means you're going to have to select all of this and tell Photoshop to match it. It will do it, but you may not like the look of it. It's gotten better. It might fix it, but that's too much. So just crop it. Don't leave extra white around it, because it'll you'll have to fill in the white gap. So if you do have an artwork you want to use later for a project, make sure you crop it and trim it off before you do the offset. That way it's not going to spend an hour trying to render and draw all this stuff. It may not even, it did it. It made its own little zebra stripe. And I have this little print. So On my handout, I gave everyone was denim and shadow. So what I did was, let me go to appearance, and I'm gonna turn everything off, and I'm gonna start from scratch. Let me do this. All of these, I'm just gonna just changing these back to what they were before. So they're just like, this is like a white block. That's going to be my highlight. And then here, it's going to be my shadow. On my shirt for shading. So what I did was, for highlight and shine, I did another thing I did to the sleeve and to the bodice, inner glow. So what I did was, I went under effects, stylize, and I said inner glow. And it's gonna apply another one. So it has inner glow, and I did multiply with this shadow, and I blurred it, see, a little bit stronger so you can see it. But maybe 3 millimeters, and maybe not 60%. This is actually 65% is good, but this is too dark. So I'm gonna do a lighter gray because this is white. I don't want to look super blacked out, but like a medium gray. That's gonna give a little shadow. And then I'll do it to the sleeve. So it's applying the same thing. I put it on the edge. And then for a little contour shadowing to the body, like I did here, I put a regular shape. And to make the shape, I didn't draw it. I used the blob brush. And I just went like this, just painting. And then I took the eraser. If I want to do a little contour and shape to it a little bit more, I took the eraser tool and just trimmed it down. Make some lines thinner. So this is kind of like the curve for the bust shadow. Then for the waist, maybe a little bit less of that. Let me put that one there. And then I changed the gradient. Yeah, that's not gonna fit, but it's gonna be okay. So what I did was, I click on the gradient and change it from black here. I went it black there. So I'm gonna drag. Ooh, wrong way. There we go. So let me drag this way. Not black. I want dark. I want white here. And then I did, to blend it, transparency. You do multiply, and you get your shadow. And then what I also did, maybe I could erase that some more. So I'm gonna get the eraser. Go to the eraser. It's fast. cleans up your lines. And make sure, be careful, because you need to make sure what you're erasing, you select it. Because the eraser will try to erase your garment. So only select what you want to erase. And then I would do, on my handout, I went to blur, Gaussian blur, to make it fade and get softer. So I'm doing about 7 pixels. See? So now it's like a very soft, blended shadow. And the same thing with here. On the sleeve, the crease from the arm, like where it drapes in your arm, there's usually a shadow line here. So I made it multiply. So you can see the design through the gray. And then I did a blur to make it softer. And the same thing here. I did a gradient, did multiply to make it translucent, and then a blur to give it soft. And then for highlight, I did an overlay so it looks brighter. So the white is making it pop or shine. And then I did a little blur. And the shadow. And multiply. Actually, the gradient's going the wrong way. So I'm going to click on the gradient. I want the black going this way. Now it just went crazy. Yeah, I'm going to do the gradient. With the gradient switching like that way. Then I'm going to do the blur. There we go. Oops, let me zoom in. So you can look at, let's take this shadow off. So if you look at this side, it's nice, but it doesn't have that realism of the fold of the fabric and the movement of the body or the shaping. So that is using shadow and effects. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste this. And I'm going to ungroup it. I'm going to do what I showed yet last week. Off. And I put the sleeves on afterwards. I got extra little drape lines I need to get rid of. So give me a minute. I'm going to take the buttons off. If I could take the buttons off. Don't look like I'm going to be able to take the buttons off. I'm just going to have to leave them there. Be the shadow. And these little dots are going to, they're a distraction. They're not needed. These little shadow lines, let's see, move these out the way. I just want to prepare it for what I'm going to do. So in my handout I gave you, it's called Puppet Warp. I'm going to leave it there. I didn't want to leave the buttons in here because the buttons get distorted, but yeah, we don't have time. So my handout I gave you talks about Puppet Warp. And Puppet Warp is this tool. I'll make this a little bit lighter transparency so I can see through it. Put it over her. And I do need to take one other thing away. I don't need the inside neck and the back collar. Not now. There we go. Let me group it one more time. There is a push pin hiding behind the free transform tool. So there's a push pin, which is puppet warp. So it looks like a little tack. So I took this, I'll put this here, lower opacity. So now it's sheer, and I'm gonna resize it a little bit smaller. Making it fit to her neck. And then I'm gonna adjust it. So actually it's not too bad. But I'm gonna bring one of the shoulders down. So this is what I'm gonna do. Take the push pin. I wait for it to wake up. There we go. I pin the buttons on her neck. I add a pin to the shoulder. There's one over here. I'm gonna pin her collar to her neck. And then I pin over here on the hem. I pin on the other hem. I pin at the bottom of the shirt. I don't want this one, so I'm gonna click on that, delete it. I don't want this one, I'm gonna delete that. But I'm gonna pin at her waist. And there's a pin on her pocket. Don't need that. And there's a pin here. I don't want that. And there's an extra pin there. So those pins I took away, I don't need. I made one here on the armhole. So watch. You click on this, and you can move that. If I click on her collar, I can make it fit to her neck better. I can fit this to her neck.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was just wondering, did you do something to put those pins, or like it's like it's done by itself?
It does make them by itself, but I put extra pins where I want, which is the shoulder, and then I took away the ones it automatically added.
Oh, okay. And
because it's kind of guessing for me, and I don't want it to do guessing for me.
Okay.
So I want to make sure there's points on the hem, because see, I want to pull the hem out, and I may want to pull, see the placket over and move it up or down. And if there's an extra pin, like say here where it was, if I pull this one's not going to let me move too much. So it kind of like blocks my movement. So I don't want that.
Okay.
So I take away what I don't want, because I do want one on the waist, because I want to make it fit to her body at the waist. And then I'm going to pull here, and then I can come back, and maybe I want to do one for the armhole. Let's say the armhole here, I could pin there now, and I could adjust that.
Do you delete them?
Huh?
Or do you delete them, the ones you don't want?
Yeah. If you don't want it, you can click on it and it would delete for you.
Oh, okay.
So if you click on one that turns white, you can delete it. And see how the shirt jumped back? So if I delete this, watch the shirt move.
Capital B.
So yeah. So, but like I said, I always do one to center front for the neck. If you have a collar, or let's say you have spaghetti straps, You always have one at the top of the strap, maybe like on a bra. So I'm gonna make this 100%. And see, I wanted to move, my collar went weird, but I wanted to make it move like her body here, how it's curving, and then this hip, because the hip is going up. So if I had a skirt, which is like a straight skirt, then I can warp that too. But if these were like, if I was giving her a little swimsuit, you know, I put a pin here, a pin up here, a pin over here, a pin over here, so I could adjust the fit to the bust, because a person's body is not going to be straight symmetrical. One's going to be always like moving forward, and one's always going to be kind of like turning back. So it's kind of like Miss Riegelman said for fashion design sketching. She said there's always a S curve in a body. So if you look at her, there is that S curve. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for that S curve shape where one shoulder goes up, then the hip goes like that. As you can see, it's going this way, her shoulder's going that way. So that's why I try to do the shirt that way and then this way. Kind of like, look like it's mimicking her body making the movement. Make sense?
Yes, yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So yes, there's that S curve our body does when we walk. And even when we're standing, you stand with your hand on your hip, there's always one leg kind of like straight and one leg kind of, one knee bent on the other leg, and the hip is kind of up. So I do that. So if you do pants are tricky because you can't do both legs. So I just do one leg at a time. Ooh. So I would do one leg, and let me do something for this real quick so we can see it. There we go. I'll make it gray. So I could use my pants leg, resize it. Let me make it shorter. I'll do transparency, make it lighter. Didn't do it lighter. There we go. I was on the wrong color. And what I do is that I'm gonna do the push pin. See, see those little dots? It decided there, but I don't want them there. I want it here, here, at the knee. There's one there. And I don't want these, so I'm gonna delete those. And actually, I don't even need it at the middle of the knee. Then rise, and I want this. I want it at the hip. And then I'm gonna pin at the waist and at the waist. So now watch, I can stretch this, pull that. Come on, pull this over. Let's do the front, center front. Put that to the rise, and I might have to adjust that. So I'm gonna push the knee in. And it looks like it's trying to buckle on me. There we go. So I did have to add an extra one. And then for the cuff, it actually looks okay. But you can kind of like move the cuff around. I gotta smooth that out. Let's see if it helps. It kind of got bumpy there, so I'm gonna delete this one. This one's not helping me. you kind of like, oh shoot, you're not helping. Hey, group, come on, where's my parent? Let's see, ungroup. There we go. I don't know why it grouped on me. So sometimes you do have to come back and clean up little parts of the drawing. And see, it added extra anchor points. I'm gonna delete those, delete those, delete those. I don't need you. Where are you? There you go. So I'm gonna just invert and move out that dip.
I think you're covering your mic.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. So what I'm doing is just having to come back, and you do have to come back and adjust a little bit, but what I always say, the pants are easy to trace, and warping is probably better to just use your, just like a little tracing outline. But that's it. Then you can just take this, do a reflect, and we'll put that in the back. And then I'll bring the shirt to the front. I might have to do this. This is kind of like bulging out too much. There she goes. But yeah, I would just do like my own trace of the pants because the pants are simple. But for the shirt, but if you're doing a dress, it's definitely a fast way. And then I would do my inner glow. Inner glow. Make sure I'm on the right layer. There we go. Make it darker. Let's go to a darker gray because this is a dark color, so I need to go darker. There we go. Then we'll do the same one here. There she is. She almost dressed. And you didn't have to redraw your garment again. You just took it and warped your same garment. But take your sleeves off. Remember to take your sleeve off. This little sketch got kind of crazy on me. It's not the best. And then my buttons, as you can see, are all over the place. And then sometimes your stitching moves. So I would have taken my buttons off and put them back on that way. And I don't know why this collar did that. It just went wonky on me. So that's a strange. The drawing just started to start torquing and going crazy on me. So, but this, I think it has multiple shapes over it. But if you have like a clean garment sketch, then you can always put your stitching on later. And then I will put the sleeves on afterwards. I'll just modify them. And then if you notice her hair, you go, what about her hair? Well, what you could do, I could probably do a little push pin on it. No, maybe just a little pin right here on the cup. There we go. Then on the underarm. And then I'm gonna delete that. I'll pull the sleeve cap. And then of course, add a little shadow to it, touch it up. Oh, that's too dark. I think I had 3 millimeter. And then the other one, easy peasy. Her arm is hanging straight down, so I just take this and just put it right there in the back. So I was gonna say her hair is all underneath her shirt. So what you can do in Photoshop is that you can just make a copy of her hair. Copy her hair. Uh-oh, it's moving the, I touched her artwork. So I'm letting Photoshop think about it. Come on. I didn't want to move her pixels. There we go. So if you want to, in Photoshop, is that you can make a copy of her hair, save it as a Photoshop file with a transparency, and just paste it on top. So you have the hair over the garment. But actually it doesn't look too bad behind it. So if that works, leave it as is. I need to rotate that better, but I'm being picky. Once I get started, it's like all these little subtle things you have to do. So yeah, I need to warp it, but is my shoe. And I did like the little, same thing, the little shine. And then I did like the little shadow around it. And I did little effects to make it have the texture like the leather. So I don't know that this class does have like accessory. Part of it is making an accessory for the final project. So if you want to do a shoe or a bag, a leather bag or a bag or a hat, just check the video out on my thing. And I talk about how to do like make chrome and metal. And then I did one more. So this one too. So this is
Do you
the
have the
real.
lab?
Yeah, I do. Let me give you the hours. So this is the real bag, and this is the Illustrator bag. Looks good, huh? This looks more real.
That's cute.
Isn't it cool? It's a little character called Puck Puck. So that's the, and then I did the shoe. And then I did the accessory. So
How
they
long does
got,
that typically take you?
this took a while.
I know because they're so good and so detailed.
Thank you. So this one took a while, but the secret is I went to WGSN and actually got the shoe.
I feel that.
And what I did is I added the eye and I added the nose and the teeth and I changed a little bit of the sole. But that's all I did. And then I added new style lines. Like I broke the sole up into two colors. I wanted two colors. And I took some, because there was this little ugly, I don't like this anymore, but that was right here. So I took that one off and put an eye there. And then I put the little highlight. See that? Isn't that crazy? It looks fine, but as soon as you do this to make it shine, now it looks like it's plastic. Just that little, nope. Yes. So this is same thing. I did like the leather and I did the coloring and the shine. The shine is actually called plastic wrap, which makes it follows the texture of the material. So I'm gonna show that real quick. So I'll show you what it does. Let's see. Plastic wrap. So this is plastic wrap in Photoshop. And you can do really shiny detail, like if you want shiny, shiny leather or very matte leather. And it also shows how much detail you want, like a lot of bumps or less detail. You can do very smooth. So I want to do more smooth leather, not too rough, and with a lot of shine. And that's it. And then I add the little shadow around the edges. And I did that to the teeth to make them look like they're shiny plastic teeth. Let's go back. So where were we? So let's go. So I have her selected. So I'm gonna step back a little bit. Come on, let's go back. So I captured her with the quick selection right now. And I just went around her hair. Let me zoom in. Come on, zoom in. So I'm just going around very slowly. And like I said, I always capture the fingers, always end up getting cut off. But I don't want to capture the color between her fingers. So I make this brush smaller. Let's see if I can do that. So I'm going to go up here and change the size to 3 or 2. Hold Alt. And it's going to drag between her fingers slowly to remove the color. And then over here, same thing. I did pretty good with her hand. So make sure I add everything. And now I'm going to do minus here. So I'm going to do Alt. And I'll make this brush a little bit bigger. And I press the bracket key. So I'm just slowly dragging to deselect the gray between her arm and her body. There we go. Up into her armpit. There we go. And what I want to do is that I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to add her hair, add some more hair. I'm going to clean this up. And actually, I don't want that. Not necessary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of her to bring into Illustrator. But before I do that, I'm going to fine tune my selection and smooth it out. So what I'm going to do is up here, there is a select and mask button. And see how bumpy it looks? It looks pretty rough. So what I'm going to do, you got different views. So this is without the background, marching ants, overlay, on basic, on white, or on black. So I just want to make sure this is what I want to do is look at it in black and white. And I'm going to go to smooth it out. I'm going to do a little bit of contrast to make the edges cleaner. And the shift will either add more or you can do minus. It will get tighter to her body. So I'm kind of just going to do a little bit out. No feather. I don't want a soft edge. I want a sharp, clean edge. So I'm doing smooth to get rid of all the little bumpy lines and blurry lines. So if I do smooth, you'll see it clean it up. And then contrast makes it more sharper. I'm gonna say on onion skin. So you can definitely see how well it's doing. And like the shift is just how much around her. See, it's starting to show gray. Don't want that. I'm just saying, for example, make it tighter to fit the pixels, the selection around her. And going around, looking at her hair. So this is a good selection. I might have to come back and clean up her hand again. Then I'm gonna say, okay. I'm gonna press okay or enter. Takes me back. And I noticed it did bring back that. So a quick solution, lasso. Get the lasso, press the Alt key, just trace around and loop around. Go up, go in her fingers, go down, and then turn and go back to where you started. Now I have her. I'm going to copy her and paste. So she's on her own layer. And before I take her to Illustrator, I'm going to go to layer, layer style, and I'm going to add a stroke outline to her. That's a little bit too big. I'm going to do like, that's even still too big. So I'm going to go down to 3. 3 or 2. And what that's going to help is going to help Illustrator see the edge. And you could say, right now it's on the outside. You could say inside. So it fits inside, closer. And I'm just doing black, but you could do like a dark gray, but it just helps Illustrator see the edges to her better for definition. And then I will copy her, but I could also do a little adjustment to her before I bring it to Illustrator, but I like it. So this is perfect. I'll select all, Command A, copy, and actually I need to copy the stroke. So I'm gonna say copy merge. So I also copy the stroke to her. And I'm gonna go back to Illustrator. Let me switch over to Illustrator for you. I'm gonna paste. Come on, paste her in. There she is. So now she's, I'll make her bigger. Don't want to make her that. I just want to make her bigger. Now this is where I do, so this is fine. I mean, this is acceptable. But if you want to do the little image trace, I'm gonna go to image trace. I'm gonna select her and I do 6 colors, but I change the 6 colors to 8. So I already selected her and say 6 colors. So I'm gonna let it do its thing. I can stop it and change it, but I have to do one other thing I'm gonna show you.
Did you just copy and pasted her in Illustrator, or did you saved it and then opened it?
No, actually, I copied and pasted her
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm using the newest Photoshop and the 2020 Photoshop and the 2020 Illustrator. I can do that. It
Well,
used to, it wouldn't do that before.
for example, if I'm using, I think it's 2019, I'm not sure. Should I save it in Photoshop as like how should I save the file to open it in Illustrator?
You can save it as a Photoshop file because it'll have a transparency.
Okay.
So you will have to copy and paste her let's see. If you were going to bring her into Illustrator, do this. So let's go back to Photoshop because I have an extra layer. I don't want Photoshop to bring that. So you could do this, save as, and do PNG. This PNG is like a special JPEG that holds transparency only. So this won't bring the layers, the other layers. It will ignore those other layers. And it's a very small file and that will work. And you can save her as a PNG. So that's PNG. And when you hit save, let's see. You can just say medium size. And sometimes it says, do you want transparency? But now it's automatic.
Thank you. Perfect.
You're welcome. Because you don't want to bring a Photoshop file because you only want one layer. That's all you're going to get with the PNG.
Okay.
And then when you place it, you're going to do just like I did. But if you have your cloud on, go to, so when you have your cloud on, your cloud, when you sign in through the app, check and see if you need an update. See, it already, it's already trying to do 21. I'm on 20 now, but it's already trying to update. So they're
Okay.
constantly updating. So, but they just like, they drive me crazy. So where is my Google thing? Oh, there we go. It doesn't know what it is. So here we go. So see all my apps, it's telling me it's time to update some. So my Illustrator, they're long overdue. I used to ignore it. And if you notice at school in the winter quarter, we were having that problem with the files acting weird from Illustrator from the school and home because your home computer was updating faster than the school. So just to let you know. in case we ever go back to the campus. It's like always have to remember that. So see how she traced? And I like it, except her lips look wonky. And her nose kind of got smashed. So I'm gonna click on this. Under advanced, right here is the word advanced. You click on that, see where it says noise? I'm gonna slide it to 1. It's gonna trace it again. It kind of like softens the detail and adds better, sharper detail. So I'm gonna take out the noise and the static from the artwork. There we go, there we go. See, even her highlight, her eyes came in. And her earring. So now I'm gonna fix her face. I'm gonna go from 6 to just 8 more colors, 2 more colors. And it's gonna totally change the detail. The other advanced part is path. That means it makes it more smoother, more detail, but it's a lot more anchor points. See how that looks? Totally different. It smoothed out her face. Oop, it's still thinking. It gave a little bit more definition to her lip. And it's still doing this little thing, so. So once it's settled, there we go. Once you have it, and if you're happy with it, and like I said, I would have went to Photoshop, and I'm gonna do it real fast. I'm gonna go to Photoshop. Another thing I would do with Photoshop, like I was saying, is selecting her hair. And I would have to clean this up a little bit. Actually, no, I don't have to clean it up. It's gonna be perfect. You don't need all her neck, but it's okay. Don't need her cheek, but anyway, let me just stop, copy, paste, turn that off. And this is what I mean. I will save this, go to Illustrator, I'm gonna paste, I'm gonna do the little image trace. There we go. Actually, it kept the color pretty well. So I'm gonna go back to my original girl. Hey, it did the white. I don't know why it did the white. It sure did. So I'm hit expand, go to properties. Expand makes the trace back to path and anchor points. I'm gonna ungroup one more time. Take the white, see? Group, little group on that. So I'll put that here. Then a little bit of her hair there.